and Tabitha Poplin. Please join me in recognizing these individuals. Now I'm pleased to welcome President Mearns to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Buck, and good morning. It is a privilege to serve as the president of Ball State University, and it is my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Larry Gerstein. Professor Gerstein is the 2016 winner of Ball State's Outstanding Faculty Award. This award recognizes a career of excellence in teaching, scholarly or creative productivity, and service. He is the George and Frances Ball Distinguished Professor of Psychology and Counseling and the Director of the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies. Professor Gerstein received his education at Bernard Baruch College and at the University of Georgia. He joined Ball State in 1983, the same year that he earned his doctorate. Over more than 30 years at our university, Professor Gerstein has built a distinguished record. His many accomplishments include directing our doctoral program in counseling psychology and publishing more than 100 scholarly articles and 3 books. He is a fellow of the American Psychological Association, a Fulbright scholar and specialist, an advisor to the City University of Hong Kong Department of Applied Social Sciences, and a trained mediator. Professor Gerstein's research involves cross-cultural methodology, nonviolence, aggression and youth, sports for youth development, emotion recognition, and employee assistance programs. But his passion is social justice. He has championed peace and compassion for people of all cultures, and he has spoken out for those without a voice long before social justice was a common term in his profession. In 2006, Professor Gerstein started leading our Center for Peace and Conflict Studies. Among other services, the center seeks nonviolent solutions to conflict, and it provides mediation services. As the center's director, he has received more than $2 million in grants, including 4 from the United States Department of State and 1 from the United States Institute of Peace. Recent projects include training young Iraqi leaders in social entrepreneurship, using soccer to teach conflict resolution to Jordanian and Tajikistani youth and coaches, and teaching American studies to Pakistani graduate students. His work has benefited adults, children, and youth in the United States, in the Middle East, and in Asia. And his knowledge and passion has instructed and inspired hundreds of our students. And so it is my privilege, and we are fortunate, Larry, to have you as our commencement speaker, and we all look forward to your remarks.
Good morning, and thank you, President Mearns, for that very thoughtful introduction. And thank you to everyone who was involved in giving me this opportunity to speak with you today. Today was the first time that I met President Mearns, and therefore it's an honor to serve as the first graduation speaker in what I hope will be his long and distinguished career here at Ball State University. It is also a great honor to congratulate you, the Ball State graduates, for summer 2017. I would like to congratulate as well your parents, guardians, friends, relatives, neighbors, and your pets that have supported you along the way. You all were there when they needed you most. Late nights, early mornings, finals weeks, and of course, to feed and clothe them, and I think in many of your cases, do their laundry. So thank you. If you told this particular troublemaker, while I was struggling to make it out of kindergarten and middle school, that I would be delivering the commencement address at a university graduation, I would never have believed you. Much like you, I had people in my life that inspired and believed in me, and they also deserve my appreciation. My parents, my grandparents, my cousins, my students, my counseling psychology and Center for Peace and Conflict Studies colleagues, interim president, former president Terry King, interim provost Marilyn Buck, the BSU staff, particularly Marie Douglas, my friends, one of my close friends is here right now, Dr. Bill Jackson, and my greatest supporter and critic, my wife, Dow Alamo, who's always reminded me to be humble, what it's most important in life, and what it really means to be a distinguished professor. I have been in your chair, you graduates, attending graduation only once. I skipped my high school graduation, my college graduation, my graduation for my master's degree. I only went to my PhD graduation ceremony because my parents forced me to go. But during that ceremony, I marveled at how I would never know what to say if I were to address an audience like you on a momentous occasion like today. And still, I don't know what's best to say. But I got some great help from Dr. Mesner's speech class this past fall. So if any of you are here, thank you for helping me write this speech. I must admit, I was an underachiever for many years. Perhaps I was afraid of failing if I really tried to succeed in school. My status as an underachiever also was noted by others, including my high school guidance counselor, who told me I would never make it in college. But I finally faced my fear as a senior in college, and I've given it my all ever since that time. How I came to Ball State is a bizarre story. I applied for over 100 jobs before graduating with my PhD. And like many stories you've heard before mine, I was having no luck getting a job. Then, 2 weeks before fall semester was to begin, a woman who had accepted a position here decided at the last minute that she could not be apart from her twin sister that got a job in California. They found me, Ball State found me, and I was hired on the spot. I've been here ever since, 34 years. Some people have a need to plan their lives and for everything to go according to plan. But for me, like perhaps for you, I discovered there isn't always a direct, easy path. In college and graduate school, I second-guessed what I wanted to do and what I wanted to major in. Ultimately, I learned life presents us with many challenges, that can be turned into exciting possibilities if you train your mind to embrace the obstacles as potential opportunities. If you're open to seeing possibilities, you'll never know what lessons you may learn or the experiences you might encounter. Based on my travels to more than 40 countries, I want to suggest to you, put aside your assumptions and biases when you encounter challenges, the unknown, new cultures, and people different from you. Try to embrace all of these while at the same time maintaining your values, vision, and passion. Be aware and question your assumptions, biases, and values, but do not haphazardly abandon or change them. I had an amazing opportunity the past few years to pursue two of my passions. First, bringing together people from different cultures and nations to better understand each other. And second, training people in conflict prevention and resolution. Through two projects funded by the U.S. State Department and with my Ball State colleagues, Professor Blum and Judge, we're able to use soccer to teach leadership and conflict prevention and resolution to hundreds of coaches and youth from Jordan, Tajikistan, and the United States. The projects were also designed to promote cultural understanding in order to overcome myths we had about each other and our countries. The soccer pitch may not seem like the most obvious classroom for conflict resolution training, but it worked. Sometimes you need to think outside of the box. By the way, we also train the very talented and amazing Ball State Police in conflict resolution skills. All of us need basic conflict resolution skills, even if we don't play soccer or if we're not a police officer. Every single day we are faced with differences of opinions, values, and expectations in a wide array of diverse people. As I'm sure you know, it is impossible to avoid conflict. You will encounter conflict at work, in long-term relationships with your family, friends, neighbors, strangers, and even within yourself. Though I might be considered an expert in conflict prevention and resolution, my department colleagues, especially my chair, Professor Sharon Bowman, and my wife, can tell you I don't always practice what I preach. I do know, however, what my research and others tell us about ways to prevent and resolve conflict. We must actively listen to each other, not only with our ears, but also with our eyes, with our heart, with our mind, and our soul. This type of undivided listening helps us to understand the experience of another person and also makes it possible to express empathy toward that other individual, or to be able to put yourself in his or her shoes. Respect is another important component of conflict prevention and resolution. Being able to demonstrate respect means, in part, letting another person speak without interruption, using a soft, gentle voice during a dispute, and using polite language. In some conflicts, it may seem we have nothing in common with our adversary. However, the next time you are in a conflict, I encourage you to think again and embrace the idea that you always have something, at least something in common with your opponent. Sometimes it only might be that you're both passionate about your points of view. To prevent or resolve conflict, this recognition is critical. If you have been paying attention to what I've been sharing with you, you would realize I have not said anything about strategies you can use to solve a conflict. In fact, no problem-solving strategy will result in a mutually satisfying solution to a dispute if you do not first demonstrate active listening, empathy, and respect toward the person you're in conflict with, and then try to find some common ground. Once you accomplish these goals, you are ready to find a solution to prevent or resolve a conflict. While I would like to think practice makes perfect when it comes to avoiding and resolving conflicts, it's not the case. Instead, practice and more practice is what is required. It is a lifetime conflict management course that is essential to living a peaceful existence, enriching oneself and your community, and promoting respect for diverse values, cultures, and people. Speaking of a lifetime experience, the author E.L. Doctorow once said, "Life and writing are like driving at night in the fog. You can only see as far as your headlights, but you can make that trip that way." This quotation speaks to the nature of discovery and going forth without a sureness of what lies ahead, both in terms of challenges and opportunities. I love to travel, and years ago, I also sailed many times on the ocean for long periods far away from the shoreline. I realized then that sailing has many similarities to life. Whether you are a skillful skipper or a novice sailor, no human being can control the mighty sea. Sometimes moments come up where the ocean is calm. Then very quickly it becomes rough and unrecognizable. When a storm rolls in, you only have two choices: endure the hardship and acknowledge your fear, or let the boat capsize and sink. This challenge is partly what makes life exciting. Keep an open mind and embrace the unknown. Consider the possibility that every question has at least 100 answers. Try something new every day and learn from other people, as we all are one another's teachers and students. Also learn to accept the mistakes that you will undoubtedly make. Be humble about your accomplishments and always remember to be yourself. I wish you all the best in your future. I know as a Ball State graduate, you will excel in whatever you do. Once again, I congratulate you, and I thank all your supporters for helping you to achieve this major milestone.
Thank you, Dr. Buck, and thank you, Dr. Gerstein. Madam Provost, we are now ready to proceed with the award.